Vitale, Vitale Wealth Management. With this week's Gradient Investments Market Update, everything is gathered as of September 30th, 2024. Let's get into the week in review. The S&P 500 continued to rally, increasing by 0.64% for the week, and the index is now up 21% year to date. Small cap stocks, the Russell 2000, fell off recent highs, but are still up over 10% year to date. International stocks were very positive last week, with international developed markets up 3.79. Emerging markets were up 6.22%. Both indexes are now up 15% year to date. Bonds, which is the U.S. aggregate, were slightly down 0.01 as U.S. Treasury rates were stable to slightly higher. Talk about upcoming economic release. The unemployment report will be closely watched this Friday after the Federal Reserve did cut rates by 0.5 point last week. Investors will be looking to jobs to see if there's evidence of a weakening economy. So that's kind of what's looking. You wonder why the market keeps making these radical moves. That's what they're looking at. Market outlook. In the opinion of Gradient, I was just there for all week last week in Minnesota talking about this. The market is increasingly looking at gridlock scenario as the most likely outcome for the election. This scenario is one where the Fed is cutting rates, jobs and wages remain relatively steady, inflation is under control, and the U.S. economy continues to grow. So those are all good positive things. Most likely catalyst for a change toward negative sentiment would be a softer than expected jobs number, or third quarter earnings and outlooks that suggest economic and business trends are slowing more than anticipated. Talk a little bit about that more in a second here. Talk about a little bit of recent activity. The G50 portfolio did sell ADP and Arthur Gallagher and purchased Alphabet and Honeywell in their portfolio. We already have Alphabet in the Core Select and the G33, but now it's in the G50 portfolio. Also, let's talk about stocks in the news. Accenture, owned in the G50, reported results last week that beat expectations on sales and earnings. Julie Sweet, who is the CEO, stated that the generative AI booking for business generated $3 billion in revenues during the fiscal year. Also, Costco, which is owned in the Core Select, reported results that beat expectations on earnings per share. E-commerce sales for Costco grew by 19.5% year over year during that quarter, and after adjusting for impacts of gasoline prices and foreign exchanges. So last week, as I said, I was also in Minnesota. We had our Elite Advisor Academy. We were looking at different things. They had a lot of the heavy hitters from around the country coming in who are big financial analysts, managing trillions of dollars. And, a lot of the sentiment was, Costco that we just talked about, super solid stock, one to definitely be into, and we have that. Of course, AI. We are seeing precious metals. We're seeing gold at almost $2,700 an ounce. Silver's at $32 an ounce almost. So these have been growing. We also have that Bitcoin, that digital discovery portfolio, which is not bad to have a little piece of that. And it also has AI, but we also have AI in our Core Select and 33 portfolios. So there's a lot of ways to have these exposures without going too heavily weighted or too risky. The big question on everybody's minds is, my gosh, what about the election? What's this going to do to her? Everything's going to go to pot. What are we doing? Remember, gridlock. They want to see that balance of power, so depending who gets in. Yes, I think if one goes over the other, it's going to be better one way or another. But as long as we have the House and Senate split, that's going to help with checks and balances. We look at the past track record, the past history of the Democrats or Republicans getting in and what that means to the market. It has been positive regardless, as long as they're not all one. So we'll keep close tabs on that. We want to make sure everybody's properly allocated. We're looking at that. Remember, right now is the time. We only got a little bit of time before the end of the year before we can do Roth conversions. So we want to look at that. We want to make sure we're fully funding. Take advantage of the low tax brackets right now. So make sure. Give us a call if you have any questions, 855-756-5700. Visit us at vitalewealth.com. Thank you so much for being part of our family. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.